Hi everyone, welcome to the Sugar and Crumbs kitchen. Well, we're back again. So Wednesday night we have Simon on camera. Hi Simon.
Hi Carol.
And we have Rachel in the kitchen, who's live it's going to be today. So Rachel's coming along to do a fabulous demo for you today, and she is going to be talking about her next two classes, mainly about the next one really. That's what we're going to talk about the most. But before we start, I just want to say a big thank you to Kim Firth, who's in the kitchen. Hi. She's having a rest, ladies, don't worry, we worked her hard today. So Kim was in the kitchen last night, and she did the reveal of our shoe kit, which so many of you lovely ladies have purchased. We've got 8 at the special price left. I just did a quick stock check before. We've got 8 left, and then the next lot will come in still with a discount, but not as much as tonight's. We've done a fabulous class today. There's 70 odd members in that class, absolutely fantastic, and I just want to show you some of the things that we did in class today. When I say we, Kim did. So as you've seen, there's a load of shoes in the background that Kim did pre-class, but in the class session today we did the little mini shoe. So I'll just show you these. There's no one on comments yet, I have to finish. So look at that, that's a little mini high heel shoe. Sugar and Crumbs colours. See, she's looking after us today. So you learn how to make this. We did sliders today, so I call these, I don't call them sliders, I call them sandals.
I call them sandals.
Do you? Yeah, I call them sandals, yeah.
Sliders
Must be us
like a
here,
new
because
thing,
we're from
isn't it?
Cheshire, isn't it?
You've got to get with the programme.
We're from Cheshire, us, we call
Sliders
them.
and a tuck.
So we did these today, look at that, look how fabulous that is. Do you want to go to the overhead, Simon? So let's have a look at these, aren't these lovely? So with a little bit of bling. And then this one drove Kim insane, this one right at the end. I had to leave early, but her getting the bling on this, so it was winding her up. But she got it on, she's done well, there it is. And then, now she didn't make this high heel shoe in class, I just want to show you. But what you learn is, but all the other techniques you'll learn how to make high heel shoes. And here's one here. So we can't take it off the former yet because it's still drying. So if you just keep the overheads going, Simon. Yep, so this is still drying, and the stripes that are on here, you just follow the same basis for this shoe. So lots of hints and tips. We've got the little former here, little slider here. So in the shoe kit you can make large shoes, mini shoes, and now you can make mini. That's what we're going to call them. So these are quite good for the little kiddies. And look at this one blinged up again, another sandal. See, that was me. I'm going, because Kim, we're going to have to bling these girls. We need them all blinged up. How lovely are them? So I'll read your comments back shortly. And then I wanted to show you this sandal as well, just for other ideas. I just love them. So any of you were in Claire Corbett's class, which one was it? It was the couture wedding cake cupcake ones, wasn't it? She showed you how to make these. But you know, when I get Kim back again next time, I'll show you how to make those as well. So do join the class. So your kit is on offer at the moment. The last 8 kits £59.99, and then they'll go up to £64.99 before they get to the recommended retail price. So we're just doing them to start off with. The class is £20. Ladies who are watching today will tell you it was the best value for money. You learned so much in class today. And also when Kim comes back, every time I bring her back, I'll get her to do a little demo in the class. Not a full day, just one shoe, little demo. Just keep the class going, keep going on with ideas, and that's the benefits of the class. And you don't have to pay for that because you're already in that class. So every time she comes over in a shoe. There we go. We'll just quickly do it in the class as well, which is great. All right then. So I'm going to get Rachel to get on with her dem. I'm just going to move this lot out of the way very gently. Just hope I don't break any. I broke one already.
Don't leave them anywhere near me.
Yeah, Rachel's staying well out of the way.
Do you remember I nearly dropped that isomalt that you made?
Yes, I do remember.
It just jumped out my hand.
So
I'll go anywhere near me, I promise.
We had to let so Rachel had to let herself in tonight and set herself up because we were running late, and she said, "I've not touched them shoes. I've not touched anything."
You've been given a wide berth.
Yeah.
I said to Simon, it's bad enough when you break something you've made yourself, but when you break something that somebody else
Well, look what I did.
It's mortifying.
I broke this one.
Oh my god.
I know. Look.
Savage.
So I broke this one. Anyhow, so there we go. Just put that there. Let me get rid of all this lot. So if you want your shoes and you want your classes, make sure you run over and sign up now before we run out. There we go. Last one. I'm nearly done. Nearly done. Let's just put that over there.
That black and white one's my favourite, I think.
Is that your favourite one?
Yeah, I just think it's really cute.
Yeah, I think it's lovely as well. Right, get this out of the way, and then it's you, Rachel. Off you go.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me back. I am going to be doing a few different things tonight, all centred around a couple of different wedding cake decorative techniques that I've used in the past. You don't have to use them on wedding cakes, you can use them on celebration cakes, or just do them for fun if you want. But to tell you briefly what we're going to be doing, I've got a 2-tier cake, so I've covered a top tier, this is a 6-inch tier in blue sugar paste, and then I have an 8-inch tier that I've covered in white sugar paste. We're going to be doing some lustering on this bottom tier. We're going to be painting this blue tier to get it into a really nice dark navy colour, and I'll explain to you how I'm going to do that, because navy cakes, like I've been doing dark wedding cakes for quite a few years now. Like I remember I used to do them at wedding fairs, and people would come up to the stand and they'd always draw a crowd, but then you'd hear comments like, but not for a wedding, it's, you know, it should be pale for a wedding, it should be white or ivory or pastels. And eventually people cottoned on and more people started doing them, and it became normalised. And I do a lot of dark navy, dark green, sugar paste backgrounds for then florals to go on. And geometrics work really well with it. The metallic lusters work really well with the dark tones as well. So I'm going to share with you how you can achieve those really, really easily from the basis of buying just a shop bought, like an online shop bought blue sugar paste, how to get that to a navy tone, like a really deep, rich navy tone, really easily. And then on this bottom tier, which we're going to luster, we are going to use this set of geometric cutters. So this is a triangle set, geometric multi-cutter from PME. So I don't know if you can just see there. There's a cake on the front there that's where it's fully covered. I'm on the wrong side. Fully covered. What? Sorry. Yeah. Fully covered in different coloured triangles. We're going to do something slightly different with this. You get 3 different sizes in the pack. And they do different types, it's not just this one, is there?
Yeah, they do lots of different types. We've actually never had anyone promote these. Now, I haven't got many in stock, if I'm honest. I haven't stocked up on them, but if people want them, all you need to do is let me know you want them afterwards, and I'll make sure that I get them in. They'll be in for next week, I would think.
And they're quite a good value. Like PME products are usually quite good value, aren't they? Yeah. And they're one of those bits of kit that you could probably use for, you know, having your cupboard and used for many different things. I'm going to show you one way with it today. We're going to be doing some marbling of sugar paste, overlaying that with some triangle cutouts and some geometric sort of tile patterns over the lustered tier, with the luster sort of showing through in between each triangle. So unlike the picture on the box where all the triangles were joined together, we're going to leave some gaps with the luster showing through. So that's going to be the bottom tier. Yeah, it's just something a bit different. And we're going to do some marbling of sugar paste on that, but also you can obviously, you've seen on the box that it's like the multicoloured version. I also did one years and years ago on a square cake. It was actually someone else's design, and a client came to me and said, we are obsessed with this cake. And it was very much like this, but it wasn't fully covered, and it was fewer colour tones, and it was square. And some of the triangles were actually also covered in metallic leaf, so it had that, just the odd random triangle had this lovely sort of high shine on it. You could do that the same with the lusters.
Oh, I should have brought home. We're selling Squire's gold flakes. I should have brought some home.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
We'll do it on
So it's not leaf. They're already broken up into little flakes.
Yeah,
so you just
get them with a brush and pop them on.
Yeah, much easier.
And then on this top tier, once we've darkened this and given it a really nice sort of matte navy blue finish, we're also going to do some stuff with wafer paper. So we're going to create some nice wafer paper sails, and we're going to gild those as well with some of the luster dusts.
Oh, very good.
So, and obviously one will be going on top of the other. Yeah. So we'll finish off with a nice 2-tier cake, but they're quite simple techniques, but quite versatile. Obviously the multi-cutter makes this technique quite a bit quicker. You can obviously cut triangles out yourself at home if you wanted, but this will speed it up a lot. I've done lots of cakes where you've had like a repeating pattern of something that you've had to cut out, usually geometric, but having something like this really does speed it up. So anyone that's done something like this, I know like they do the squares, is it Minecraft cakes?
Yeah.
And I've never done one, but I always see people in Facebook groups going, Thank God that's over, never again.
Yeah.
So they do the square ones in this set, don't they? So that you get 3 different sizes of squares. So they're great for the Minecraft ones, but you can use them for anything. I know Minecraft's just like it's a trend at the moment.
In fact, funny enough, Sarah Saunders has just said that. She said, I've got them, they're great, especially the square ones for those pesky Minecraft cakes.
Yeah, exactly.
They are.
Thankfully, I've never had to make one.
Yeah.
And after seeing everyone else's like frustrations at making them, because even with the multi-cutter tool, it's still like you've got to place them all so precisely.
So I don't know what stock I've got of the multi-cutter tools, because we've had them for a long time and they don't sell very well. And I think the reason for that is nobody's demmed them. So when Rachel said she was going to dem them, I've ordered them from PME, but they didn't arrive in time for today. So we will have them in hopefully by Friday. We've got a few in stock, but not all of them.
So, you guys
sew together at the same time.
You guys will know by now, obviously, I'm using obviously this Sugar and Crumbs Wonder Dust collection. I've just picked out a couple from the box there because there's loads. So I've just picked out a couple and I will share with you which ones we're using. And I've got the little
spoon, the one.
Can we call it a spoon?
No, it's called a Wonder Wand.
Oh, Wonder Wand. That's much better. So you guys are laughing. You'll be familiar with that by now. Like Carol's done loads of demos on these and lustering cakes, so we'll get that on quickly because I'm sure a lot of you will have known that. But obviously, any questions as we go, please
well, everybody
just do
loves
shout.
the Wonder Dust. A lot of people are saying it's their new favourite, and we're very pleased. So our dispatch got dispatched on Monday, so we're hoping it's going to arrive in time for either Friday or Monday. So, and the frozen blue is with it as well. Hopefully it doesn't get lost again.
The frozen blue.
Yeah, frozen blue is beautiful.
I think, did I use that?
I think you have used
on
it,
the Christmas. Oh no, it must have been just before. Maybe you just had the sample pots in then.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was some really nice.
You didn't use the spoon after that.
I didn't, did I?
No,
well, because I'd need quite a bit, Simon. I'd have been there forever and a day with this.
To be fair, I don't think you need the spoon when you're doing
yeah.
this. I think you need the spoon for when you only want a tiny bit.
Yeah, or when you're in one of those little paint palette things, but in a bowl, you're fine.
Yeah, no, you've got to tip it in.
I was just trying to be dainty. But...
No, I would just tip it in as well. Yeah.
There's no need.
So, Leslie Green saying, hello ladies, and whoever is on camera tonight. Well, that's
whoever.
That's me.
Do you know what? I haven't looked at him. Well, hello, Simon. Did you know she was doing blue because he's got a blue beard? Eh? That was good coordination, wasn't it? I don't really look at Simon very much, but every now and again he surprises me by colouring his beard. So he looks very nice tonight. I like it when he's coloured his beard.
I didn't notice. Kim noticed.
Yeah. If he hadn't coloured his beard, I avoid him.
Oh.
I know, and I hadn't even noticed. She made me a coffee as well. I didn't even notice. Sorry. Anyhow,
just gave your orders. Like the queen that you are.
I did come running. I did come flying in and said hi. I'm going to jump on the computer.
You did.
Make us a coffee, Simon.
I don't even think you said that. You said something like, I take it you're making coffee, Simon, or something. So
it's the only job he does. He does that and plays with 2 fingers on the computer and makes out he works really hard. So,
he's playing solitaire or something, isn't he?
He's got a lovely red colour to go with his nice blue beard. But it's nice to go that colour there. So that's a lovely blue, Simon.
It's purple.
It is blue.
Let me have a look.
Blue.
See, it's blue at the top, but as you go down, it is definitely more... Oh, I've spilt this now. It's definitely more intense purple as it goes down, but there's definitely blue tones at the...
It's darker, that's what it is, it's a darker.
Yeah. Oh, dear. Dying. After all that blue chat, he goes, it's purple.
So, how tall is the 8-inch chair, please?
I shall measure it in a little minute.
How tall is the 8-inch chair?
It's usually about
8 inches, that looks like, is it not?
Don't know. Let's see.
I've got to take a look.
6.
Is that 6?
You're also it's about, well, it's obviously a 5-inch dummy because it's just over 5 inches.
Ah, right. Oh, God, my eyeballing's not good tonight, is it?
Obviously not. We're all heavily overestimating.
So we've got a lovely audience. Anyhow, we've got Rachel in the kitchen because while she's showing you this fabulous dem, lots of you have joined her classes. So you did the introduction to buttercream with her, which was amazing. Massive turnout of people. You had over 100 odd people in that class, didn't you?
Yeah, and there's quite a few people joined since
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely. And then we've got the introduction to sugar paste, wedding cake. So we did that, and now she's coming back with a masterclass ganache cake, which basically, I'll get Rachel to tell you in a minute, she's going to show you everything about ganaching. And then later on in the year, she's got a masterclass of wedding cakes, haven't you, Rachel?
Yes.
So when do you want to start talking about it?
So the ganache masterclass is happening at the end of this month. I'm trying to do this without flicking it everywhere. Usually I would just come out.
Just go for it, flick it.
I'll end up with it everywhere.
Got it, Kim here, she can clean it up later.
I'm worried about splattering Kim, to be honest. It gets everywhere. So yeah, we've got the ganache masterclass at the end of this month, which is full day, and we're going to just do a massive deep dive into everything ganache. So obviously you guys know that I've done some of the demos on the Facebook Lives with ganache, but we're going to go into everything in so much more detail. We're going to be doing milk chocolate, dark chocolate and white chocolate. We're going to be doing square and round cakes, but 3 different techniques of actually ganaching. So those of you will know that there's obviously different ways and different methods of ganaching. So we're going to do 3 different ways. So we're going to do the Bridget's kit, which I think we might do the square because I've never done the square.
Yeah.
And we're going to do ganaching plates and then a pro froster, because for those of you who are familiar with ganache, you'll know that there's lots of chat about, people have their different preferences and people just take to one method over another inexplicably. You might just click with one method over another. So
well, I do
we're
say that
both.
if you can ganache a cake with plates or a pro froster or with a scraper, don't change.
Yeah.
So when the Bridges Cake Room came out, to me that is ideal for people who can't get smooth sides, and I'm the perfect candidate for that. So I can't get smooth sides, perfect for me. But those of you who can ganache and do it properly, then great. And those of you who can't, you know what? Let Rachel teach you different ways, and you'll find a way that you will love.
Yeah, 100%. So we'll be looking at, obviously, because the other questions that we get, mostly I use white chocolate ganache on my wedding cakes because usually it is paler sugar paste on top. But we're going to be using milk, dark and white chocolate, because I know that whenever we've demoed one, we always then get loads of questions asked about the others. So we're going to cover all 3. And we're going to also look at dialing and stacking ganache cakes. We're going to be talking about storage, how to sort of store them while you're working with ganache, obviously making all the different ganaches, but also we're going to be doing some decorative techniques using ganache. So I'm going to be talking about colouring ganache and doing also like a top coat of ganache, which is what I call ganache on ganache. I'm saying ganache way too much. Showing you how you can do that as like a decorative top coat, so that you can, if you don't want to do buttercream cakes but you don't want to do sugar paste cakes, and you're happy with ganache, you can use the ganache as your top coat, decorative coat. I'm going to show you a technique, a really quick and easy technique to do that. It's just literally going to be all about ganache. So if you've got any concerns, either you've never used it before, or you've used it and you've thought never again, like the Minecraft people, or perhaps you've used it but you just want to kind of improve your technique and see some different techniques and some different ways of doing it, or if you just fancy joining us, then any of those is fine. But yeah, I use it as a foundation for all of my wedding cakes, because at room temperature ganache sets firmer than like a thick layer of buttercream that you would need under your sugar paste. So for me particularly, like literally a couple of weeks ago it was raining and cold here every day, and now we're like sweltering hot, so you just never know with the weather in this country. So for me, I use it as a foundation for my sugar paste cakes, which are always tiered, because it's just that bit firmer at room temperature. So stability wise and structure wise, it just gives me that confidence that a thick layer of buttercream just wouldn't necessarily give me. So it's something that if you can learn these techniques, you'll be able to use on every single cake that you make going forward.
I think it's quite good for them to learn all types. Lots of love here for Bridget's cake kit. Lots of them are saying that they could never get a straight side, so they use that.
Exactly, and that's perfect then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's taking the fear out of it.
And the good thing as well, I've seen a lady there, it was Margaret, saying, I love the Bridget's cake kit, but uses a lot of ganache. Well, if we cut the cake properly, it doesn't use a lot of ganache. So I think when we first brought it out, we cut it more than we should. But as you get used to it, you can trim it less.
Yeah.
And it's fine. I know the girls trim it less now.
Okay, so just while I'm leaving that to set before I come back to do the triangles on it, I'm going to do the second painting, which is the top coat, so the top tier, sorry. So, before somebody asks, this is a 6-inch round and it is 6 inches tall. What I want to just quickly talk about is the starting point of the blue sugar paste. So I have used the Massachusetts, it's called Sailing Blue, I think. Yes, Sailing Blue. There are other blues, aren't there? Like there's the sugar paste. No, from
yeah.
other brands and stuff that we talked about. Now this is
on the website. I'm not sure whether I call it Sailing Blue, but it's the only blue one Massachusetts do. So if you do buy it, it is the only blue one they do.
So to start with, this blue, like I love Massachusetts, so it's the one that I tend to use on my wedding cakes. Can't get this out. And to start with, the blue that it comes with is quite a bright blue. So it's the kind of blue that you would quite happily use on like kids' cakes, you know, as like it's very vibrant. Now that's great, it's a lovely blue, but for me, when I'm getting asked for navy blue cakes, this doesn't cut it. This is too bright for me, and it's definitely too bright for my style of cakes. So, are you covered?
That was a bit of a dumb thing to do, wasn't it?
That's why I left it.
I can't lick my fingers anymore because I'm on a diet.
Well, exactly. So. You're being very good, very restrained. So this is, it doesn't show up as much on the camera as it does in person, in real life. This is real life. But basically what I do is I add a little bit, instead of piling loads of navy blue, so I tend to use, I've got the Pro Gel Navy Blue here. So this is a really lovely gel colour, which you could absolutely knead into this. But you'd have to add quite a bit of this into the sugar paste to get it to the final colour. Remember, this isn't the final colour. We're going darker. But, which you could absolutely do. However, if you're trying to cover a whole wedding cake in like in a dark sugar paste tone, you're going to be exhausting yourself, needing quite a lot of gel colour into quite a lot of sugar paste. So obviously we've only got a 250 gram block here, but you might be using a few kilos to cover a whole cake. So obviously that's a lot of kneading. Not only will that be unnecessary time, but it's also unnecessary energy. So it's one of the jobs I dread the most, is kneading colour into sugar paste, because it's like a workout, and I will always end up with sore wrists the next day. So what you can do instead, and the other thing is, sorry, if you're adding a lot of gel colour, I know some of you will already know this, that it does change the consistency of, if you're having to add a load in,
Makes it very soft.
it does make it very soft. And then, especially if you're covering cakes and trying to get a really nice finish on them, it makes everything that just a little bit harder. So what we always say is just try and, if you are going to colour your sugar paste anyway, try and do it the day before, wrap it up in a Ziploc bag and let that colour continue to develop, but also let the sugar paste, just because every time you knead it, you're adding warmth into it, and it's just activating all that stretch, and it will become softer and softer, and it's more likely to tear at the top. And if you can just do that the day before and then pop it back, condition it all, colour it all, pop it back in your Ziploc bag, and then all you'll need to do the next day, the colour will properly develop, it will refirm up back a little bit, and then you'll just be able to give it a quick knead on the day just to bring it back and crack on. So yeah, don't worry about doing it in advance, because it's better really. So what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of black in, and the thing the black will do is just kind of knock the vibrancy of this back a little bit, and also start to darken it. So we're just going to add a little bit of black in to this 250 gram block.
So I see some of you have asked questions, but I know a lot of you are asking questions about Wonder Dust, but when Rachel gets on to doing the lustre again, we'll chat about those. And then the ganache, when she talks about ganache, because a few of you have asked about ganache, she'll tell you what she's teaching in the class again, so she can go over those. So I'm not ignoring you, I'm just trying to catch up actually, because there's over 300 people watching tonight, by the way. So let me just try and speed through. So we will get through some of your questions. You may have to ask them again though. So as we get to do the dusting and using the Wonder Dust, ask me again and I can ask Rachel then. And when we talk about the ganache, ask me again then and I can tell you then. I'll let her crack on with the sugar paste for now.
So straight away you can hopefully see on the camera, I don't know how much it shows up on the camera, but it's kind of, it has started to darken it a little bit, but it's also just muted it, it's taken that vibrancy away. So it's given us a nice sort of basis, and it's taken me a few seconds to do that. I'm not messing about with gel colours because they can be messy and cover your hands. I've just popped a little bit of black in there. So if you are doing this technique, obviously order the blue that you need and then just order a pack of the black. The black tends to cut, this is a kilo bag, but they also sell it in the 250 grams, so you wouldn't need a kilo of it. You can just order, and they're like a few quid per pack, aren't they? So obviously once you've got it to this stage, you can obviously go darker if you want, but what I've done is I've covered the cake, and then I've also, with my offcuts, I've just gone and rolled some out and popped it onto a board. Now you can just pop that on a chopping board or anything, just have that sat out. And the reason why we do that is so that when we come to paint this, we can just do a little test patch on here to make sure that before we go and pop it onto the cake, that you're happy with it, with the result that it's going to give you, how deep it is, and that it's like properly mixed and things like that. So let me just get rid of this one.
I tell you, we've kept you ladies busy with lives this week, haven't we? Eh? Every day, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday this week.
It's like a public service.
I know, exactly. Then the day ones.
Oh, I'm scared this is going to go everywhere. I don't know why, it's just such a deep dark colour. I think I might have run out actually. Let me grab another one.
Do you want black, do you? I've got black in the
No, I'm
cupboard
just
there.
grabbing this other blue.
Oh, blue.
I had a pack of them somewhere. Just lost them. Where they've gone, I can't see them sometimes.
So we're just looking for the Pro Gels. I can't see them either. Oh yeah, no, there's no blue there.
Got them. Had to sort out of all my colours the other day.
It's worse when you have a sort out.
I had so many.
I had a sort out in this kitchen this summer and I cannot find anything since. Seriously, I don't know where anything is.
I've just got so many as well, and I think I had so many greens. And my husband said to me, "You don't even use green," and I was like, "Leaves? I make so much foliage." And he was like, "Oh yeah." But yeah, I have so many greens. It's like I need a bigger bag.
So Mary, Rachel is using Massaticino. Okay, it's up to you which sugar paste you want, but Massaticino do a lovely blue, and I'd probably stick with Massaticino if I'm honest as well.
Yeah. It's never steered me wrong, so I hadn't realised these have had a little repackage, haven't they?
Yes, they've all been renamed. Yeah, I put all the new images on last night. One of the other jobs that I was doing last night when I finished the line.
So sorted through my tube, but I obviously didn't check if there was any in them. Damn it. Okay, so just like with the lustre dust, we're just going to mix this with some clear alcohol.
Quick question. So Leslie used the sugar paste for the first time and it had a few air bubbles. Did she need it too much?
Potentially, but don't worry about if you do have air bubbles. It's one of those. It's slightly like a necessary evil because you do need to knead it and condition it. But just be mindful of them when you're kneading. Just be a bit more mindful of it, and when you're actually like doing that last round of kneading, just really try and put some pressure into it, and you'll hear them pop and burst.
I think the other thing is a lot of ladies pull the sugar paste too far.
Yeah.
So if you just show them on their camera there, a lot of ladies pull it really wide, the sugar paste, and then they go fold it over
and trap all
the air in, and they shouldn't.
If you just use
small and often.
Yeah, just if you can just use an an acupuncture needle to get any out, and just quickly pop them like I've done on the demos on these lives before. Just quickly pop them as you're rolling out. The sooner that you see them and pop them, the better, because then when you roll over it with the rolling pin, it'll completely disappear.
How much sugar paste do you think you would need to cover that cake you've got there? So that's a 6-inch wide,
8 inches, 6 inch by 6 inches. That
Yeah.
one. I would say I would roll out probably about 700 grams, maybe
Yeah.
600-700 grams off the top of my head. I might have got that completely wrong, but yeah, maybe about that. Because obviously you need to roll out extra so that you've got enough to drape over, and then you cut off and you can reuse that. But you need to obviously roll out more than you need so that you don't need to be super precise when you pop it on, because if you're off slightly, then you're going to have loads of excess on one side and a big gap on the other. So I've just mixed that in to make sure that there's no bits left in the bowl, and it's just completely dissolved.
Is that rejuvenating?
Yes, yeah.
Kathy, they're all saying how they've enjoyed all the extra lives this week, that we're
There
keeping
you
them
go.
busy. And just laughing at Maureen, she said, I've not moved from my sofa all day today. I've had the shoe live, then Tracy Mann live, and now this live. My body, I would say, will have pressure sores. And Kathy Eaton's husband says, my husband said tonight, what, it's on again?
It's like, you know how there are like golf widows, you know, when your husband just disappears to play golf all the
They
time.
do sort of moan, don't they? When you're not doing anything, they don't really want to do anything with you. But when you're busy, it's like, what are you doing? Is that so true?
Again?
Are all husbands like that? Isn't it? It's like, it's just like, when you're busy, what are you doing? What are you doing? John minders me, sir. What are you doing? When we be finished? What are you up to now? And then when I've got time for him, no, not interested, he's on his computer.
So I just did my little test patch to make sure that it was all okay.
Don't worry, we've got football coming.
Oh gosh, when's that, Simon?
Well, that's it. He'll totally ignore me when football's on.
Friday.
Fridays, let's start then. Right, girls, we'll start syncing up the lives again then while football's on. You can get your computers out. First to race for the big TV.
Yeah, it's exactly
Put it on
that.
it. It'd be the first day doing it. Is it called casting with your iPhone? You cast yours on
Yes.
first.
It's like Bugsy. Shotgun. Calling shotgun on the telly. So I've just got a wet brush and a dry brush here, because what I'm wanting to do is make sure that dries off nice, and it will dry off nice and quick anyway if you're using rejuvenated spirit, because the alcohol content is so high in it, especially when it's nice and humid today, that it just evaporates right off. But I'm just popping it on with the wet brush and then just taking it off with the dry brush, just to help it dry streak free and nice and evenly. Now, because that's dried so quickly, obviously you can see how much darker it is already. It's a little bit uneven with the colour. Now, what I would always do is go back and do a second coat, but if you want that more watercolour effect, then that's absolutely fine. You can be more intentional with the watercolour and allow it bits to drip and go heavier in some areas and lighter in some others. That's absolutely fine. But if you're wanting something a bit more even, just leave that a few minutes and then go back and do another coat, which we'll do in a second. But yeah, if you just try and have one wet brush and one dry brush, then it just means that you can catch any drips if you're not wanting, you know, if you're wanting it to be a bit more uniform.
So the brushes you can buy off our website. If you go to our website, I've had a change of the website brand section now. So where Sugar and Crumbs, because it's beginning with S and in the alphabetical order, it was always at the bottom of the list. And then the other day I was sat there talking to John thinking, why are we at the bottom of the list?
Exactly.
We really need to have a full column to ourselves. So
Yeah.
I moved the whole menu around on Sunday. It took me 6.5 hours. I moved it all around, and S&C is now the first column. So when you go into brands, it says Sugar and Crumbs. Click Sugar and Crumbs, and then it will drop down to all the things that Sugar and Crumbs sells.
As it should
And
be.
then you can go to the brands.
So I'm just going back round and doing a second coat, and I will take that off with the dry
Emma
brush.
Harlem also says, I hope he thinks it's odd when Sugar and Crumbs is not on.
That's the right way around, isn't it?
Yes, I know it's quite good to see gel colours with Rejuvenator. A lot of people don't know that.
Oh, I use them like this all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
They're brilliant for like creating a watercolour effect. Even, I know we're doing it with the dark tones now, but they work really well, like particularly on wedding cakes, with lovely pastel colours. So if you're wanting to add in like a bit of a pastel, like the warmth of a pastel tone rather than having everything white, then you can cover everything in white and then just do like make like a soft pink or a muted peach or something like that, and then just paint it on, and it gives a totally different look to, it gives a much more subtle look than if you'd covered like the whole, if you'd coloured your sugar paste and covered the whole table. That's quite blocky, whereas this way it's a bit more subtle, it's a bit more sort of artistic, I guess.
That's gorgeous what you've done there.
But it's just so quick, and it's like it's a midnight blue. Now can you see, this is what it was when it was covered. So this was with the black added in. That's what the cake was covered in, and then just 2 quick coats and we've gone to this lovely dark midnight navy. That was 1 coat there, and you could see there's a few little streaks, but it's literally, it's so quick.
In seconds.
If you tried to knead
quicker than
Pro-Gel,
an airbrush.
quicker than an airbrush, yeah, and you don't have to clean your airbrush afterwards. It's just a nightmare. And it's not as I know I was joking about the mess before, but I do find my airbrush technique quite messy.
Well, Teresa Tanya Smith says, I love the lives and I hate it if I miss one. Thank you very much.
So that is touch dry now, but you'd be able to work on that within minutes. It's absolutely fine. Obviously what you don't want to do at this stage or at any stage going forward is to get that wet, because if you wet it and lift, like, it will lift off just like the luster dust would. It will lift off. So just be careful once you've got to this stage to make sure it doesn't get splattered with any liquid or anything like that. I'll move this to one side for now.
Oh, a lovely lady from America goes, this is Kathy, Kathy Rose, she goes, Carol, I so appreciate all your lives and guests. I always learn something new, and just with shipping and handling costs did not cost so much to get to the States. I agree with you. But we're suffering really badly with shipping costs getting into the UK. Since we've left the euro, it's been a nightmare, everything. We cannot get anything. We can't send anything out.
Everything's out of stock everywhere.
Everything's out of stock everywhere. Everything's a nightmare. I had a big fight on my hands, not yesterday, the day before, just for cake drums.
Is there not? I keep hearing about a cardboard shortage. I think that's...
Yeah, well, you can't get cardboard boxes. And it's going to get worse, that's the problem, because, well, it's just going to get worse. Can't even tell you how bad it's going to be. I would hang on to all your boxes, ask your customers for your boxes back, tell them you're doing a recycling.
Funny times. Okie doke. So, going back to this one here, and just make sure I've not got stuff all over my hands. So we're going to use the multi-cutter tool to create some triangle cutouts, which we're then going to pop on there. I'm just going to grab a little bit of water actually. So what I am going to do is just create some marbled paste here. So this is 50-50 sugar paste and flour paste. So you can use whatever brand you like. Now I've added the 50-50 in just so that, because we don't want these while we're handling them, once they're cut, we don't want them to be misshapen at all. We don't want them to stretch. We don't want them to become not triangles anymore. So just by adding a 50-50 flour paste with the sugar paste, or you could add some like Tyler's or anything like that. You must use, what do you use for your shoes then?
I use flour paste.
Yeah, I love flour paste, to be honest.
Pardon?
I love flour paste, but I've mixed it 50-50 with flour paste because I always have flour paste to hand. But yeah, you can put a firming agent into your sugar paste if you don't have any flour paste. So I'm just going to marble some of this, and for those of you who did the sugar paste masterclass with me, we did some marbling and covered a hexagonal tier with it, and it was such a quick and easy effect.
Well, so one lady's very happy, Lynn Bond. She's making a navy blue cake for a wedding this year.
Amazing.
You just sorted out her problem.
Honestly, the elbow grease that you save.
Yeah, I know. I'm amazed myself.
It
I'm
takes
Welsh.
such a long time to knead it in. And do you know the amount of times that I've also kneaded in colour and then gone back to it and thought, that's not the right, I've not got the right colour. It's not, and you've done all that
I know.
work.
Well, you see, ladies, how much colouring do I need to change white to black or red? I'm like, just buy it.
Buy the black, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Don't even think about it or airbrush it. But now this way, you don't even need to get your airbrush out. It's brilliant.
And they do sell like the ready to paint products. They are out there. I have tried some of the navy ones, and I have to say, this I still prefer. It just gives me the intensity of colour and the deepness and the richness of colour that in such a quick and easy way that the other ones just haven't quite given me the same, I don't think. So I'm just adding a little bit. This is Pro Gel Grey, but you can again use whatever brand you want.
So question, does the colour come off on your hands when it's dry?
No.
You shouldn't be holding it anyhow.
No.
Why would you put your hands on it?
I know.
I suppose if they're stacking it, what I would say is just make sure that your hands are properly clean. They're not wet in any way. They've not got like luster on them, because it will transfer.
Yeah.
Unless obviously you're wanting to add some sparkle to your blue tier. But yeah, you can obviously, like Carol said, just pop on some gloves if you want.
Yeah. White gloves is good, especially for your chocolate and for your luster cakes. It stops it going everywhere. And they're dead cheap off Amazon. 12 pairs are not a lot of money. You started with a bit of hay fever, Kim.
I could be. I'm trying to sneeze very
Yeah.
Just go for it. Don't
Just go
honestly.
for it.
When you're uncomfortable.
Yes, I am here.
Yes, Simon is here.
I am here.
How did they miss that conversation? Why are you asking me if you're here?
I'm not asking you for it.
Are you here?
Am I
You're
here?
here, Simon. I'm not sure.
No,
are you?
I'm making a statement.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Well, I was talking about you before. Did nobody hear it?
Yeah, but Jill asked before that.
Jill missed. Oh, we had a conversation about his beard because I hadn't even noticed. I'd been in the room half an hour. Only noticed when she. Eh?
I hadn't either.
You hadn't noticed, had you? No.
See, I don't notice, Simon.
No, I felt bad.
And I'm still not your favourite.
Does it work the same with Colour Splash adding Rejuvenator?
I don't know. I've not used the Colour Splash navy one. So
I will tell you it does, and it does with Fractal.
Yeah, I've used
Don't worry.
Fractal.
Yeah.
But I've not. Yeah.
Do it with your
But
Colour Splash, you'll be
just
fine.
do your test. Always just do, roll your scraps out from covering your cake, like I did, and then mix it in a small bowl. Mix a small amount to begin with, and make sure that you're happy with it. Make sure there's nothing weird going on, and then just do your test on your rolled out piece of scrap.
So Anna says, does Pro Gel oxidise and change colour, or will it stay this colour forever? She has issues with blue turning green.
Oh. I've
I think
had
people
display
have that
cake
when-
like this that I've had for years,
Yeah,
like a
I
couple
think
of years.
the way
and it's been
that
okay.
you've done it stays blue. I think a lot of people have trouble when they're moulding it into white sugar paste, it turns green.
Right.
A lot of people do that.
But I've done this method on display cakes that I've had for over a year. But so do you know the one thing that will make that worse is if you have it in direct sunlight at all. That will happen much quicker. Anything like that will happen much quicker. So I'm just giving this a bit of a shake on the worktop just to make sure I've got clean cuts, and then just turn it over and make sure that all of those are nice clean cuts. And you could go much heavier on the marbling than this if you wanted. Totally up to you.
Anyway, who was asking about you?
Jill,
Who was?
You one fan?
feeling neglected, yeah.
No, he's got loads of fans.
Deary
Deary
me.
me, exactly, I know. Loads of fans.
So if you're doing something like this, you might want to just grab a plastic wallet or have a piece of plastic sheet, and or those like.
sell the hinge mats.
Do you?
Yeah, have you got them there? So they're a bit firmer as well, because
Oh, I know those. Yeah.
The plastic wallets are great, but they're a bit flimsy.
They are flimsy, and
So-
they bend.
They bend,
and then they've
if
got
the
a big
wind
crease
comes,
in
they
them.
blow up a little bit as well. But we've got the hinge mat as well. Don't know where I can put it actually.
I think I saw them earlier actually when I was having a route around.
They're really good. They're called Stay Fresh mats.
Yes.
And they're heavy, and these ones are. I used to sell them single, but I've now had them put together.
And they keep things nice and flat, the heavier
Yes,
ones.
they do.
Yes.
So, so you can put them. But the good thing with having them a hinge like that, you can pick them up and move them around,
Yeah.
which you can with this idea, but they're not as heavy to.
No, they're not. And this is very flimsy.
It'll
And there's
float,
times
it'll
where I've
blow
like had to shove that in a drawer, and then it's like ended up all like
Yeah.
creased, and,
Yeah.
and I'm like trying to flatten it back down again because obviously it doesn't do the job.
I'll stick it in your hinge mat now.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we go.
And then you can pick your mat up then and move it out of the way. Great.
So what I've done is obviously I've done one set. Now what I haven't done, because I've not used this tool before today, is done any measurements for spacing on here. I'm actually just going to pop that on the turntable so it's more.
If some of you are wondering why about the Stay Fresh mat, it was designed for petals. So those of you who make flowers or want to make flowers, by the time you've cut all your petals out, you come to ball them and then they've gone rock hard, haven't they?
Yeah, you've
because
got to
they're
work
so wafer thin. Then you have to work really quick. Whereas if you cut your petals out and put them in the Stay Fresh mat, they stay nice
Fresh.
and soft. Fresh, yes, that's the word, fresh.
Okay, so I've just got a little bit of water and I've got a smaller brush, and we don't want to put a load of water on these because the water, if we want to move the position of them ever so slightly, and there's excess water, we don't want any water dripping down onto our luster. We don't want to be sort of, if we need to peel any off, it will pull the luster off.
Right, talking of the gold, which gold did you use there? I think that's the bright gold, isn't it?
I did a mix.
Yeah.
Now.
Oh, did you
I
do a mix?
I'm
You
doing a
didn't
mix.
buff it though this time, did
No,
you?
I didn't.
You just brushed it on,
No,
didn't you?
because it's getting covered, so yeah, you don't really need to. The other thing I was going to mention was with the sugar pasting, if you're doing something on top and most of your tier is actually going to be covered, don't bust your gut making sure every little imperfection is out of your sugar paste. You just, if most of it's going to be covered, if you're stenciling it, if you're putting ruffles on top of it, just, you know, get your top edge straight and make sure that your sides are straight. But if there's little imperfections in it, don't be worrying about it.
Kim, will you do me a favour? See that second tier down? That's a buffed gold of the same gold. Just so I can bring
Yeah.
it down so they can just see what the buffed one looks like as well.
So I used the bright gold and the glowing bronze.
Ah, you put them both together like that, yeah. Right,
And then I'm
very good.
going to use some of the sparkling one
the
on the
sparkling.
wafer paper in a little bit, because it's quite a similar tone, but it's definitely more
Yeah.
blingy.
Yeah,
This did have sparkles to it.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
There you go. So you can see when you buff it up how shiny it is.
Yeah, it's definitely more reflective,
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
So-
quite often I get asked by clients about like, the difference between like a metallic leaf and a luster, because sometimes they just say, oh, we want it gold, and obviously there's a price difference, so you have to kind of say to them, do you want it gold leaf or do you want it painted gold? And they don't often realise there's even a difference.
Yeah.
So this is like,
To give them the prize.
yeah, to get the price. Well, but one is definitely, obviously the leaf is always going to be more reflective because
Yeah.
it is metallic. So if by doing the buffing it gives you something sort of in between the two, really.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's nice having an assistant.
Yeah, I know, it's great, isn't it?
She always makes
You were
me-
like, I was going to
I
sit
can-
here and do
I can
nothing.
relax tonight. She always finds me a job.
I did. I said that she could relax. I said she could have a night off tonight and a night off tomorrow. And then while we was having tea earlier, I said, actually, tomorrow you can be my assistant.
What's tomorrow?
It's my live tomorrow. I haven't decided. Oh, I know what I'm doing. I'm doing the hobby core tomorrow. So I'm doing a
what?
buttercream cake,
Right.
and I'm using the manual airbrush, and I'm going to spray buttercream with Wonder Dust in a
Okay.
liquid form, because I don't want them putting it through a proper airbrush, because I don't want it clogging up their airbrush.
Right, yeah.
So I'm going to put it through in liquid form through the manual airbrush,
Yeah.
and then we're going to finish it off with some powder going over the top.
Oh.
It's going to bling.
Nice.
Yeah, we hope. It's going to be really gold. And then I thought I might do some whipping it up flowers.
Oh. So
This is
yeah,
really pretty.
quite a lot.
Yeah.
So if you can see on that camera, what I'm doing is, because obviously you could arrange this any which way you like. I had a bit of a play with some triangles that I cut out, which took me ages by hand earlier at home, and the one that I thought looked best, but this is personal preference, was the one where they were all kind of feeding into a central bit. Now you could obviously just do them randomly. You could do these a different selection of directions, like, you know, it's like laying floor tiles, or you could even, like, obviously these are all just marbled and quite subtle marble, but you could do a mix of things. So I've got some pale pink here, so we might throw a random odd pink one in, because again it goes quite nice with the colour scheme, like the blue, the gold, and then a bit of pale pink. So or you could even add the dark blue ones in as well. So using your leftover blue, what you could do is roll out a strip like we did before, which I put through the pasta roller, then paint it, colour wash it like we did before. It dries within a minute, then cut your triangles out, and then you've got a load of blue ones to just throw in randomly as well. So what I would just do is always just try and have a play about before you put them on the cake, so you kind of know what you're aiming for. But you can see here the grey bits in between are where basically the gold lustre is going to show through. And you could either do this with a lustre, or you could just do it with, so for example, you could do this with the dark navy blue behind it if you wanted, and then these pale triangles on top, and just something to contrast.
So a few of the ladies are asking about brushes. We sell a whole range of brushes and they're all back in stock. So we are filled up with brushes and the big puffy brushes as well for puffing around them.
Buffing?
Buffing. That's it.
Puffing?
Not puffing,
Buffing.
buffing. There we go. Like these, yeah. So we've got ones like this.
Yeah, like the big
Yeah,
blusher brushes, aren't they? Like,
yeah. So they're great
the
for
big
buffing
brushes.
with. We've got loads of different ones and
there's so much lustre on everything.
Eh?
Just get covered.
it's just
don't
everything's
it?
gold in this
When
kitchen,
I left
isn't it?
that coffee cup here the other week, and
Yeah.
then I came to pick it up, and it was like, now it's sparkly. I've been sat here a couple
And
of
it had
weeks.
been through the dishwasher as well.
Yeah, it was just, yeah, it'll be sparkly by now. Okay, so what I haven't done, like I mentioned, is checked the height of this, and what I would always do is just go and check the dimensions so that I knew how many repeats I was going to get down, and I wouldn't worry so much about round, because usually there is a back to the cake. So what I would do is work from one side and fill round, so I wouldn't just, well, whichever way you do it, you're going to end up with a back to it, and then you might be lucky, you might end up almost bob on, but you might end up where you've got like an awkward sort of amount of gap at the back, and you can fill that. You can decide to just kind of put a strip up the back to kind of fill in, or you can just decide to leave it because it's the back of the cake. Up to you. So I'm just going to quickly measure that. So that's about 11 centimetres, and I think we said this was just over 13. So I'm going to start from the top and work my way down, and if there's any extra gap at the bottom, we'll just stick some ribbon round at the bottom. I've got a little bit of water, and like I said, just any excess water just take off on the back of your hand, because we don't want loads. And I'm going to start and just leave a slight gap. Maybe you can see that at the top there. Now I've also got a little metal ruler here, which I'm just going to keep using to kind of check, because I'm working at a really weird angle. It's like when you try and write on a chalkboard, isn't it? And then you always go down at the end. So I'm just going to keep checking and using this metal ruler here just to kind of slightly nudge things into place rather than poking with my fingers, because if you try and poke it with your fingers, you'll end up getting lustre dust on your fingers, you'll end up denting things, and it's just a lot easier if you just kind of give it a quick nudge with something like a little ruler or something to just keep you straight. I've forgotten which way I'm doing this now. I think I've done that the wrong way already, but anyway.
So who's thinking about coming on Rachel's ganache masterclass then? So what date is it, Rachel?
I think it's the 26th or the 28th. It's a Monday. I can't remember.
I don't think it's the
June.
26th, is it? 26th is Saturday, is it?
Then
So
it'll
it's
be
the
the
28th.
Monday, yeah, the 28th.
Yeah. Oh, that's our Jazzy's birthday, that. So if you're thinking of coming on the masterclass, it's on the website. There's a couple of groups I've got to build. I've got that much to do, me. I don't know when I'm going to do it, but a couple of groups that I need to, Facebook groups that I need to build. The girls are chasing me like mad to get them up.
Because that one's not up yet, is it?
No,
That Facebook
I've
group.
just got to start them all, and then Kerry will finish them all off. So we'll get those up, and the masterclass, Sue Mary's on. She's going to join it.
excellent.
Harlem Horses, who is Emma, she's going to watch. I think you're going to learn a lot from the ganache class, because lots of you ask and ask and ask about ganache.
Yeah.
And you know what, we can't always cover it all the time. And you know, Rachel's been here and done lives on it, as other people have. But you know, when you've got that class, it's yours forever. You always know where to go back and look for it.
Yeah.
And it's a lovely, slow day where you've got time to go over everything.
Yeah. And we do go over everything. We absolutely pack it in.
So Geraldine Allen's asking, is Rachel still thinking of doing a flower class?
Yes, so the second class we're doing, Carol mentioned earlier, is a wedding cake masterclass. So I'm actually working on that one at the moment. It's covered and it's part decorated, and I will be taking pictures of it next week and sending it over to the guys here so they can get it on the website. And that is the 2nd of August. And then the third of the classes will be an introduction to sugar flowers. We don't have a date for that one yet because my diary becomes, potentially, depending upon what Boris decides, my diary becomes pretty crazy with like an 18-month backlog of weddings.
It's crazy for all the wedding makers. I've been speaking to them all. You're just all in limbo land at the moment, though, aren't you?
And it's mad because I'm supposed to have a wedding, quite a big wedding, the week after we're supposed to reopen. A full-size wedding, they've postponed 3 times, they've got big families, there's no chance they're going to do it like a 30-person wedding. And then they all fall in place after that. There's loads of them, way more than I would normally do.
To be fair, I was speaking to Tracy Mann and Julie, and they are both the same. They've got massive weddings that are happening that, same as you, they've been in the diary, been pushed back, and these people are not waiting to have a small wedding, they're waiting for that big wedding. And they're just saying they're just going to be so busy. So if you're in the wedding business, you're going to be really busy. So if you want to learn about making wedding cakes, Rachel's done 2 classes on weddings: Introduction to Buttercream. She's done Introduction to Sugar Paste, both fantastic classes. Lots of ladies on here will tell you. And her master classes is the finishing touches, everything.
It's how to sort of move on from like to get sort of those professional finishes, and we talk a lot in the classes about storing, deliveries, doweling, stacking, all that, the practical stuff that you just don't know and you've got to kind of just figure out, because a lot of us work on our own and you just have to figure it out, and oftentimes it's like you're figuring it out because things go wrong and you make mistakes and you've got to learn from them. So by doing these, it just kind of helps you avoid some of that. Because I tell you how to, basically.
And I always think, if you want to upgrade your skill levels, then invest in classes. And no disrespect, but I bring these professionals in for you. They're giving you so many skills for a very, very reasonable price. If you actually had to go physically and do that class, you'd be paying 150, 175, 200 for a class, where this one's in your own home and you get to keep it. It's yours to go back to for reference all the time. And we're charging between £20 and £40 for a class, and they're just good. And the content that you get given off each tutor in the Sugar and Crumbs kitchen is amazing.
So basically, because the diary gets a little bit crazy right through to December, because I've got this huge backlog, assuming that we're allowed to go ahead with them. I've just seen that in the camera and I'm going off on a right wonk. Then I kind of have to just clear that backlog before I can schedule any more classes for the time being. But I will do, and we've got the third one, which will be Introduction to Sugar Flowers, lined up. It's just, obviously, if something happens and the wedding cakes can't go ahead and my diary becomes clearer, then we'll obviously
do some more. So all Rachel's classes are on the website, which is sugarandcrumbs.co.uk. Now if you go straight to the home page, there's a section there that says classes, and everybody's classes there. But if you're just looking for Rachel's or Kim's or a particular tutor, go along the pink top bar and it says online classes, or online tutors I think it says. Drop down there, find your tutor, and then click there and you'll find all the classes that they've done, and it's either what they've done or what they've got coming up. Now just because they've done the class, don't feel you can't join, because we've had so many ladies who join the classes later, and when they do them, they go, Carol, it's just like being in the kitchen on the day. It's just like joining in. So lots of ladies will tell you that, so feel free to join them. So Maureen Bailey said she only makes cakes for family, but she's been in both of your classes and she's learned so much. Just the little tip about conditioning the sugar paste was a massive big help to her.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, I remember telling that to someone for the first time when I was just doing it as a hobby, and it was somebody I worked with, and they were wanting to do, and I'd been on a course for it and paid loads of money, like you said. And I said, you can't just use it straight out of the packet. And his mind was blown. He was like, what do you mean? And he was like, that's why I've been struggling so much. And I was like, yeah. Yeah, that is why.
I think if you invest in a class, you learn so much because, you know, so many, I think, I hate to say this, but when you just want to learn everything for free, you'll miss things.
You definitely place more value on like getting what you get out of it when you've paid money for a class, definitely.
Yeah, and it's the way the tutors, when they're teaching you as well, it's all about as well costings and pricings and, you know, in the community group, all I see all the time is posts, how much would you charge for this cake?
Yeah.
Well, if you don't know how much to charge for your own cake, you know, I'm considering banning them, those posts again. We didn't used to allow them, and then I've allowed them and they're sneaking in sort of like by the hundreds. And I'm thinking of like banning them again, because if you don't know how to cost your cake, you need to be, you're doing something wrong.
It's always the first thing I always think, and I never reply because I just think there's enough
such a row as well.
And I always just think, well, how much is it costing you to make?
Yeah, exactly.
It's literally the first question, how much is it costing you to make? And people genuinely don't know the answer to that question a lot of the time. They've not sat down and done it.
You charge your ingredients and you charge your time. It's dead easy.
But a lot of people don't think that. And I even see some people like providing information about like costing cakes, and they don't even factor in anything. They're like, oh, so it was this much for the ingredients and this much for the cake, this much for the icing, this much. So if you charge this, then you'd be making this. And I'm like, yeah, but you've not factored in any like of your own labour.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like costs of actually running your business, or you know, the fixed costs of it all.
Well, they've not even factored in a drum or a board or the electricity or anything, have they? So, and you know, one of the reasons I came off Messenger is I thought if I receive another email, Carol, can you tell me how to make a free tier cake? Or they send me a picture of a wedding cake, can you tell me how to make this? I think, I must be so good I can send that back in a text message. Seriously. And I see it on the community group.
The length of the message.
I know. Seriously, are you asking me?
Chapter 1. Like War and Peace.
And why am I being dumped with the pressure of how to make it? If you are going to take on the pressure of making a cake and you have no idea how to do it, then my best advice to you is tell the customer you can't do it.
And then come and do my class.
And then come and do classes. Train yourself. You would really hate it if an electrician or a plumber or a builder came and worked on an extension for you and it all fell apart. And he said, oh, well, I asked my mate up the road in a text message how to plumb the sink. and I asked my other mate in a text message how to wire the house.
I bet you some people have done that. I bet you some people have done that.
Yeah, you'd go mad, wouldn't you? So I don't get it with cake. Drives me nuts.
You've got to be confident with your skills there to be able to...
Yeah, learn to invest in your skill. And if you're not going to invest in your skill, you know what? Go and make cakes for family.
And it's just for fun. A lot of people do it for fun, and that's fine, you know, because it's just, there's no problem if it doesn't go right, is there? And that's where it's like really fun, and you can just play and experiment.
I mean, I'm not asking you to set up businesses or anything like that, but I am asking you, when you're making a cake, even for your friends, cost it properly.
Yeah.
Because too many people out there, I remember when I set up Sugar and Crumbs, and somebody said to me, oh, what a wonderful job that is. And they had this vision of me floating 100%. Around the kitchen with a penny on. I think they thought I had a magic wand, just whacking out cakes, having a great time.
Playing at cakes.
Yeah. You've no idea.
So we're just starting to build that up, and obviously you can see that pattern starting to, and I'm trying to check that I'm going, but because I'm working at such a weird angle.
Okay, well, while you're doing that, right, I've just been asked a question about the demonstration day. I have no idea what Boris is going to do yet. So at the moment, anybody who's booked on the demonstration days, if Boris changes his mind and we're not allowed to get together in more than 30, your money will then go to the next class when we open up again. Okay, so that's what we'll be doing anyhow. If you want a refund, you can have a refund, but we'll just move it to the next class date that we can get you on. I can't answer the question because I don't know Boris personally, and I have no idea what his decision is going to be on Monday. Is it Monday that he's going to tell us? No, it's a week on Monday, isn't it?
It's Monday for the following Monday.
Yeah,
so it's supposed to be telling us on Monday.
So I can't answer that question yet. We are hoping everything is going to go ahead. We're prepared for it. But you know what? If it doesn't, we've just got to cancel, and we've just got to put up with it, haven't we? Until I'd rather us all be safe, and we do it a following month. We just move things. That's all that happens. We just move.
It's a funny old situation.
And
It's the not knowing for people. I think it's difficult, isn't it? Not knowing for
And that's the other thing. I've just seen some of you there say you only make it for family. And this is the other thing we get into trouble with. I was talking to a lovely lady in the warehouse last week. She only makes them for family, but she says that they're getting out of hand because her family's growing. So it was her own children.
Yeah.
Now her children are coming back saying, can you ask me make my friends one? Can you make their children one? Then they've got grandchildren. Then the grandchildren are growing up now and asking to make their friends one. Oh, my gran will make you a cake. And she said there's no thought of costings, and the designs are getting more and more elaborate. She's actually scared to death about a design that she's got to do. She said, I've no friggin' idea. She said, but I'm expected to do it, and for nothing.
Yeah.
And that's the problem you put yourself with family. I remember when I asked my dad to sell me a car, and he said, no. I went, what do you mean you won't sell me a car? He said, never sell your family anything. It's the quickest way to have a row and fall out.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah. Because as soon as you start charging family, they don't like it.
They don't want it then.
They don't want it, yeah. Why are you doing it for free? And then some of you say, well, they'll pay you the ingredients. But do they pay you the ingredients? No.
I think sometimes a lot of it is
Some
like
just drop flour and eggs off. There you go.
sometimes people just don't really realise how much
I
like
don't think they do.
chocolate and butter and stuff
Yeah.
cost. You know,
Well, they
sugar.
go and
It's
look
not
at they
cheap.
go and look at a Tesco's £10 cake, don't they?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, we've all been there.
Yeah.
Every single cake that Chris with me.
I agree with you, Francis. Francis says the free lives, and we do free lives here. We don't even charge you for these. I give up every Monday and Thursday for you, and any other night I can. And we bring different people in, and it's not all about selling things to you. It's to help you on your cake journey as well. And obviously, we hope that you shop with Sugar and Crumbs. That's what we hope our reward is going to be. But we're no pressure type salespeople here. You go and shop where you want. We just like to think that you might shop with us. But I have to agree with Francis here. The free lives are amazing, Carol. I love Hannah and all the tutors. At the end of the day, people should not expect them to give away all the tricks for free on the lives. This is the way they make their living and deserve to be paid and give great value for money. To be fair, I do agree with that. All the tutors come in and they do give you lots of hints and tips for free. So it is really nice if you do reward them and join a class of theirs as well for you to learn.
Plus, it's like, you know, there are ladies that are in the classes that the two that we've done already, and it's so nice because now, like the buttercream one and the sugar paste one, some of the ladies came on those because, like the lady who has the navy blue cake later in the year, they had cakes for friends and family that have asked them exactly that. Like they might have done, you know, birthday cakes and stuff, and then there comes the big question of, well, you always make our cakes, can you make our wedding cake? And it is a different level of pressure, and you know, those ladies, some of those ladies now are now making that cake, and I've got a lady at the moment who she did a one-to-one with me actually, and just via Zoom, but she's making her, is it a daughter's or a son's wedding cake, and it's this weekend, and yeah, she's been messaging me like follow-up messages, just kind of giving me progress shots and stuff of this week when she's actually doing the cake. And it's been on, you know, you can, in that group afterwards, people will share the cakes that they've made, and also, you know, as they're working on stuff, they'll ask questions of either me or the other group members, and it's continued support in that group. It's, you know, you can ask follow-up questions and ask people's advice on things.
But that's exactly it is in the groups, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, that you can get tagged in and ask a question, and it's quite good that after you've done the class you do go back and answer things as well. And the other thing is, it's lovely to see everybody on their cake journey, isn't it, what they're doing and practicing, and
definitely,
little
and I
reminders
love
and
it.
stuff.
I love seeing people's cakes, and I remember from after the sugar paste one, because we did the square cakes, which a lot of people dread doing square cakes, and there was a lady
that octagonal cake as well.
Yeah, that was, I love those, and that was marbled, and everyone like loved that because it just looks so effective and it's so easy to do. But I had a lady, she's done a first ever square cake and it was marbled, and it was amazing. It was perfect, and I absolutely loved it. And I just love seeing that people have, you know, for the first time given things a go and managed to do it, and they're just over the moon with themselves. And I love that. It's very satisfying to see. So I'm not going to carry on and do that around the whole cake because, as you can tell, it's a slow progress, but it's starting to build up and give the effect that you want. Let's see,
I've just read this here. So Sue Mary said, yesterday on the news we're being told not to go to high risk places, and Stockport and Manchester were both mentioned as high risk.
Yeah, they were.
Since when?
Yesterday.
Well, I don't even know anybody who's had COVID here.
No, me
for a
neither.
long time.
And Andy Burnham came on and basically
Andy Burnham's going mad. He's going mad about it all,
because he's saying you've got to give us extra support so we can vaccinate everyone super quick.
Yeah.
Because they're sending the army up apparently to.
What, to here?
Yeah, to Greater
Are you
Manchester.
having a laugh?
No.
Yeah, but it's not here where we are, though, is it? Maybe
But they're
we'll be
just
up in
saying Greater Manchester.
They do it as a
Stockport
big
is
cloud.
here.
I know Stockport's here, but what's going on here? Who do you know who's got COVID here?
I don't know anyone, but Stockport definitely is. On
the way they carry on the
news,
news, you think we had freaking dead bodies stood at the gates there waiting, wouldn't you?
Send the army. But apparently they're sending the army to help, like with rapid testing and rapid testing and like quicken up the rollout of vaccines so that they don't close us forever. But yeah, they said basically you shouldn't be travelling in and out of Greater Manchester at the moment.
Oh God.
You were here already, so.
Anne Lawson says, Carol, can you ask Rachel about how we can buy her recipes? Would you like to tell them?
Yeah, of course. If you just go to my website, which is www.macakecompany.co.uk, and go to shop, there's a load of different options there. So I've got 2 different recipe collections. There's recipe collection 1 and recipe collection 2. If you click on them, you'll see exactly what flavours are included. There's like 5 or 6 per collection. So you get the recipes and methods and all the fillings and stuff in each one. But if you click on each collection, you'll see which, because there's basically one came out first and then people loved it, so I brought out a second collection. So you'll be able to see that, but also I've done a bundle, so because a lot of people wanted both together, so it's slightly cheaper if you buy them both in the bundle.
And the lovely thing about Rachel's recipes, they're all written up all lovely and spelt nicely and grammar and
Spelled correctly.
Whoa. Let's not promise
and
that.
all the grammar's right and everything, so you can read it.
Like sugar and crumbs aren't.
Ours are okay. Well, mine and Karen's spelling's awful. I always have to apologise for me and Karen. Me and Karen went to the same school. Well, we didn't actually, but we're from the same town at times.
Oh dear.
We can't spell as well as you and John.
Don't promise my spelling when you've not seen it.
So Harlem Horses, who's called Emma by the way, she said, I made cakes for family and friends for free for years. Now I've started charging. I was really shocked how much they actually cost. People have no idea how much the basics cost for a cake.
They really don't.
And then you've got to add your time on.
And what you get is just something simple, and then
that's the worst cake to
send
make.
you a picture through, and it's got like a million different kids characters of like, and you're like, if you got any plastic toys, you could just show on instead because you don't have any budget for this, which means I'm not doing it. But yeah, just run the toys through the dishwasher, the little plastic figures through the dishwasher, and stick them on the cake.
I'll drop the cake off, you stick them on.
Yeah.
But you know when they ask for a plain, simple cake, they don't realise how hard that is to do.
Because there's nowhere to hide.
No,
You've got to like make it perfect.
Yeah.
Unlike this, which I'm going on a right wonk on this cake now, but it can't be helped. I'm working at such an odd angle.
Family are always the least critical.
Helen Williams just saying, that's so true. I made my granddaughter a cake for her friend last week. I got nothing but thanks, Nan. She loves it.
Yeah.
But you see, when I first started doing cakes, I was practicing all my cakes. So all my friends, I just put a note on Facebook, who wants cakes? And I was making like, going bonkers. I was like making 60 cakes a day, something like that. Cupcakes I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And then they would all come around. I'll be round in 10 minutes. I'll be round in half an hour. Save me 12. Do this. Anyhow, I'd been doing this for months, and this is just while I'm teaching myself.
Yeah.
And then one day I thought, I'm just going to see if anybody will buy them. So I wrote a post and put on, I can't remember how much I said for 6 cakes or 12 cakes. Not one response. Not even a like.
Wow.
Not a comment.
I can believe.
Yeah. And then the next week I put them on for free. Everybody commented. And when they came, I said, did you see me post last week when I was charging for them? They all cracked on that they hadn't, but they had.
Yeah.
Of course they had. Can you see how many views it's had?
That's mad.
Isn't it? Anyhow, after that, I then did the next ones, and then I never made cakes anymore after that.
No.
no,
It
stopped
puts you
making them.
off, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Really puts
Because
you
I
off.
thought, yeah, I'm doing it, and they all said how delicious they tasted. They were lovely, and not only that, they weren't taking half a dozen; they were taking a dozen cakes
Yeah.
and stuff, you know. And then nothing.
I can, even though I don't want to. It's very upsetting. The thing that piece of advice somebody gave me once early on was,
Oh, that looks nice. Doesn't that look classy?
you
That?
don't need to like do anything for free for anyone unless you choose to, like, you know, you're doing a charity cake or something like that, but you don't need to be like churning out tons of cakes all the time for friends and family for free, because none of them are working for free.
Yeah, no, and they won't work for free.
They will not-
Could you imagine if they went to work and said, "Can you give me your
Absolutely.
wages?"
This is the thing.
I'm skin.
We're just going to make you work today for nothing. But they said, you know, because a lot of people then feel bad and they're like, oh, but I feel really guilty, and they're expecting. And that somebody said to me, just decide what you want to do, decide what makes sense for you. So whether that's, you're always going to, you like decide where your cutoff is as well. It's not just friends or family. It's like you've got to decide, you know, how far that extends, and then basically decide what level of discount you're going to give them. So it's either you could say, right, for my blood relatives, I'm going to do them for free if that's what's right for you, or you could say, actually, no, I'm never going to do anything for free again, but blood relatives, they just have to pay cost price, so they cover all the ingredients and I give them my time as the gift, or whatever is right for you, or just a blanket, friends and family get 20% discount, or whatever you decide. But be make the decision and be consistent. And it takes a lot of the worry and anxiety out. You know, when you know there's a family birthday coming up and you're kind of almost dreading it a little bit, dreading getting the assumption that you're going to spend 3 days of your own time making something for free, and just to kind of get, oh yeah, thanks, because it is very disheartening. But just decide for yourself what you're willing to do and who for, and then stick to that, and then you can just be a bit confident about it and not worry.
I was talking to the plumber the other day, and he was saying about mate rates, and John was reading an article about mate rates, that if somebody asks you for mate rates, decline to do the job, because it's not going to go well after that.
Yeah.
Because one, mate rates, they're never happy with the mate rate that you give them anyhow, the discount, and then when it's just not right. I'll have to try and find the article, because it was actually very clever the way it was worded.
Right.
And it said avoid. As soon as they say don't take the job on.
Yeah.
I have to say, if I ever get any inquiries and they're asking, so if they're saying, oh, well, what's your best price? And I'm like, the price I've given you is my best price. Like, I'm not like making millions from cakes here. Like, I'm not sending you this quote from my yacht. Like, I'm not, you know, nobody is like, you know, making their millions from making birthday cakes and wedding cakes.
There was a true comment here. They'd have to pay if they went to the shops.
Absolutely.
Because you're at home, they think they don't.
So I'm just picking this up, and you can see it's not coming off on my hands. My hands I've just cleaned, so that they were a bit sticky from the water and the sugar before, and I've given them a proper dry. Just popped a little bit of royal icing on there. And you can obviously touch this wherever you want, but please make sure your hands are not gonna pull anything off or detract anything.
Look how beautiful this cake looks. Doesn't that look stunning?
got
So
a
lots of
bush
ladies are saying how much they've learnt with our free lives.
Yeah.
And lots of ladies say that they are supporting the company because of what we give to them, which is lovely. So always very pleased with that. I think we're the only company that does constant free lives. I see other companies do the odd one, but it's never consistent. It's never dedicated. And
You
it's
have a full-on program.
Yeah, well, it's usually when they've got something to sell.
Yeah.
And then that's it. We've got something to sell. Yeah, there you go. Whereas we dedicate every single week. And yeah, of course, we've got things to sell you. But the other thing, I'm a firm believer in showing you properly how it works before you buy it.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing. Like, remember when I first started out, and even now, there's stuff I see on websites, and I'm like, what on earth is that, and what do I do with it? And you're just not even sure what it's for. I remember first seeing, you know, the round veining tool that you get. I remember seeing that for the first time, and every time I looked at it, I thought, I understand what a veining tool is, but I have no idea how it works. The same as stamen. The centres for flowers. For years, I just used to look at them and go, I have literally no idea how you could possibly
Look
even
at you now.
fathom those into a flower or use them on a flower. I just didn't understand them at all. And it's, yeah, you just see all these random things on websites and you're like,
Can you say your website address slowly again? I'm being asked for the link, but I can't do the link because I'm on comments.
it's, the whole link is www.ma for Marie Antoinette, cakecompany.co.uk/shop.
Yeah, there you go. That's easy, isn't it? Do you want to say it again? It's a bit slower.
You talk really quickly.
You do.
Sorry.
So should we go very
I'll
slow?
try, Carol, I will try.
Always
W.
walking from
Have you
the
got your pen and right? You lot.
Can you
You
not put it in the comments?
Everyone's a
can do it
critic.
there, yeah. You put it on the screen.
I talk very, very quietly.
Oh, I could do.
Yeah,
it.
Simon's going to put it on the screen for a minute.
Talk louder.
So Simon's going to put it on the screen
Come
for a
on,
minute. So
Simon.
yeah,
You
she's
still
going
have
to
to tell
have
me what it is then.
www.
See, there you go. Look at that.
Still too fast.
Get your pens out,
I'll
girls.
speak like I'm in an M&S advert.
So right,
like,
we've done www.ma.
MA.
Yeah.
Cake Company.
Is there no dot after MA?
No.
No. MA Cake Company
Dot.
.co.uk.
That's it. And then /shop.
Shop.
Thanks,
There
Anna.
you go.
Tell me if we've got it right.
Just have a look on the screen, Rachel.
Oh. Where am I looking?
On the screen?
Yeah.
There you go. There you
I
go.
think. I'm starting to question it now. If my husband's watching, he'll be right on it.
Yeah. I haven't seen your husband pop up tonight.
Oh, is he not? He said, because we've just, I was saying we'd converted one of our bedrooms into a little gym, and he said, he's driven down to London today for a client meeting, and he came back. I said, oh, you must be exhausted, and he said, because he was up early, long drive. I said, yeah, I'm going to do a workout tonight and have you on the screen. And I was like, oh God, do not do that.
Anna's put the link up as well. So there was another question before, and I've just got to try and think what the question was. Oh, so a lady was saying she's just got to work out how to cast to her smart TV. So I'll just quickly tell you, I think I've got it right. So you need to log into YouTube, okay? You also need to have the Wi-Fi from your phone and your TV on the same Wi-Fi, okay? I know that sounds a bit mad, but if you haven't got the Wi-Fi on your phone, you're using your data, you can't cast, so you have to be on the same Wi-Fi. Here we've got 3 Wi-Fis in this house, so we have to make sure which one we're on. And then you go to the 3 little dots at the top. So you watch this Facebook Live, you go to the 3 little dots at the top, and then you flick your finger towards the TV. You need to be near the TV, not close up, but in the same room. Flick your finger and pop, up it pops. Or you could go into search, go onto YouTube, go into search sugar and crumbs with nifty nozzles. It will come up, and then you should actually see the current live. If we're live, it should be there for you already. If it's not, you'll see the last current live. Looking good. Looking classy, this, isn't it?
It's a nice,
I like the
classic.
way you kept the white here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can they see that on the screen? Do you want to bring it a bit closer for them?
It's also, it just means that when you're stacking it, you're not worrying about messing with the lust, like knocking it
Getting
off.
gold all over it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you're going to get blue all over the white.
No, this doesn't come off unless my hands were wet, and then it would come off. But so obviously you could just do a front panel like this of the paneling of the tiling, or you could continue it right the way around. But yeah, you could. So they also do like a hexagonal one of these, and you could do it with hexagons or the squares even. And if you had the square cutters, you could easily just do the squares and then cut through them like with a little pizza cutter, cut right through the middle and to create the triangles. So if you've got the square one, you can still do this technique and this pattern. But it's just about having to play about with patterns. And obviously, if you wanted to do some random different colours on this, like the box had all different colours. So the box one had lots of bright colours, and then it had the occasional black one just as a real punchy contrast. So just have a play about with colours as well, because obviously this is a particular colour scheme, but you could really kind of go to town and have some fun. You could make it really pastel-y, or you could make it really vibrant. Like I say, you could even cover some of these in the metallic gold or even a gold leaf, just to kind of every now and again pop. So what we're going to do now is just do a nice big white wafer paper sail up the front, or maybe a couple. And again, the white will just contrast loads against the dark blue here, and they're really quick and easy to do. So I'm just using the A4 wafer paper sheets. I do have the PME tabletop steamer here, which I love. I use it for flower making, I use it for wafer paper, it's brilliant. If you don't have this, you can obviously...
It saved my neck, that the other week. On the
lustring,
lustring.
yeah. So yeah, Carol, I'd covered a load of dummies for Carol ages ago now, wasn't it, really? And so she could demo like various products and stuff, and obviously the luster just came out, but they'd been sat there for a little while and the luster just wasn't taking because the sugar paste had hardened that much. And then somebody on the live actually suggested just giving them a quick steam. I didn't know, I wasn't watching, but I wouldn't have known anyway.
No, when the Wonder Dust first came out, Rachel had only delivered her cakes, I don't know, a week or two before. So they went on absolutely beautiful and got lovely shine, as you can see in the video. And then I didn't luster them again, I don't know, it was 5 or 6 weeks later, and I'm here on an afternoon live. And what was it like? You was doing the live, weren't you, Simon? Do you remember when it was just coming off? I'm putting luster on, and as fast as I'm putting luster on, it just came off. The whole kitchen was full of glitter, but there was none on the cake. It was just going on and coming off, and I seriously was like, what's going on? What's going on? In fact, Terry might have been, was you on camera or was it Terry?
I can't remember.
No, it must be Terry, because Terry did the original video, actually, thinking about it. I could see Karen Griffiths like going... We're all eyeballing each other, and in the end somebody saved me, because I said I really have no idea what's going on, and somebody said get the steamer out, give it a quick steam, it will be fine. Re-moisten it.
But
Come back and it was beautiful.
And then you mentioned it to me and I was like, oh, I didn't see it, and then she was telling me about it,
because
I was saying maybe it was because I'd used a couple of different types of sugar paste on the dummies. I did quite a few, and so I was like, maybe it was a particular brand, and I wonder which brand it could have been. And she was like, no, we've sorted it. And I was like, oh,
it's too dry.
It's too dry. I was like, because I've only ever done it on fresh cakes that are going out that week. So yeah. Or even if I was doing it on a dummy, I've obviously covered it to then decorate. So bizarre, but now we know. So I'm just switching the steamer on. Like I said, you can use your kettle if you want, but please be careful because obviously it's hot steam and it will burn your hands. So just be careful. Obviously you can pop a pair of gloves on if you want. You can just spritz these with water. So I'll show. Here's what I did earlier with water. It does add a bit more moisture. So if you're wanting it a bit more scrunch, then you can spritz it. I'll show you one after the steam. It's a little bit less dangerous.
So what's the paper called that you're using?
It's just edible wafer paper. These are A4 sheets, but you don't have to use the A4 sheets, so I quite like just...
So it's not rice paper, is it?
No. So you can do this technique with rice paper, like the same effect, but it's a completely different medium and you handle it differently and use it differently, but you can create the same sort of shaping and effect on your cake with rice paper, but not with this steaming technique.
Yeah. And if you see that things are out of stock on the website, just click it and you can actually get a notification of when it comes back into stock. At the moment, since COVID, trying to keep things in stock is an absolute nightmare. I've just finally managed to stock up on Colour Mill today, and the new colours of Colour Mill are in as well. So so they're on. I've got 2 other new colours to go on as well, the lilac and the nude, which I thought the nude was on the website actually, but the nude's been out for a little while, but I need to get that on the website. So if you find that anything is out of stock, just press that notification, and also ping the office an email and ask them to chase me, because I'm the one who buys all the stock, and sometimes I get that engrossed in something that's going on alive, I miss something, so I have to have a little gentle reminder to go and buy it.
So I'm just giving it a light steam and you'll see it starts to curl, and then you can just scrunch it. So to begin with, this is obviously quite brittle. If you were to fold it, you can see it folds completely
Richard
flat.
is watching.
Is he?
How's the exercises going while you're watching your wife on TV, Richard?
He'll just be lying on the floor in the gym watching. He's probably there with a glass of wine or a beer or something.
And Kerry Wilson, do you know who Kerry Wilson
yes,
is? Yeah, she said, just joined, are you causing chaos, Rachel?
Yeah, Kerry's a good friend of mine. That's funny. A little bit of chaos always.
How did Rachel attach the blue ribbon? Yeah, because you whizzed that on pretty quick.
I'll show you. So you can just scrunch these whatever way you want, and if they don't scrunch quite enough, just pop them back under the steam.
I think you need to show us how to use those cutters again that we all bought.
The round ones.
Yeah.
Have you got yours here?
Yeah.
I'll use them for
Have I got
something.
me? I've got freaking loads of them. I could sell them back to Amazon.
That was not my fault. I'll just show you the ribbon bit. So some people often ask me, like, it'll show up better on the golds here, I think. Often ask me about whether I use drums or just cake cards under my tiers. Now these are just dummies, so there's no boards under them. But under my tiered cakes, I always tend to use drums because they're thicker. So they're just a bit more stable for stacking, obviously if you're doing like big cakes. But also it gives you this little section at the bottom, because the drums are usually over 1 centimetre deep, to just pop a tiny little pin in the bottom. So I have basically cut the ribbon a bit bigger than it should be, than it needs to be to wrap round, and then I've folded one end like this, just folded it back on itself, pulled it tight, and then just popped a little thing right there, because I'm trying not to touch that luster, and then popped the little pin just in the bottom to secure it. So that is going into the dummy, and I can feel it going in there nice and secure. What you don't want to do is that to be going into your cake. So which is why I use the drums, because you will feel that go nice and secure into the cardboard of the cake drum at the bottom. But it just leaves a nice sort of neat back to it. You don't need to be using glue or anything like that. I know some people do use a bit of glue, but yeah, just always have a little selection of the little pearl-headed pins.
Sorry, I'm just going to have to root around the kitchen and see where they are.
Alright.
It's when I tidied up the kitchen ages ago, I don't know where anything is.
Okay, so I'm just going to show you a sail with the water. Let me do a big sheet. So I've just got a little spray bottle with some water in. I'm just going to give it a spray all over, and you will see that it starts to go floppy. And then you can just give it a nice scrunch into whatever.
It's not a tin of circular cutters you want in, is it?
No, it's a punch. It's a paper punch.
It's the punch ones.
Oh, okay.
And then you just leave that. That's going to take a little bit longer because it's got more moisture in it to set than these will. Just going to pop a little bit of water in there because I want that to stick together a bit more. And what I've done on some of these, obviously these come with really straight edges, and what I've done on some of them, like this one here, if you go on the overhead, Simon, I've just torn down here because I'm going to paint luster dust down here. So I'm going to get that bowl back again that we had at the beginning, and I'm going to use the gold sparkle. And a little bit of rejuvenator again, and a teeny tiny brush this time. Let me grab the thin brushes down there. Okay. So get rid of that big brush. I'm just going to mix a bit of that. This is the gold sparkle one now, so it is a little bit more sparkly than some of the others. Now we don't want this super runny, this luster. We want it a little bit thicker than what we would do when we were painting, because obviously you've seen that when the water mixes with the paper, it sort of sinks in and the paper does react with it. But which is why we're using Rejuvenator Spirit as well, so that it's not as sort of watery as if you were using vodka or actual water. And we're just going along that edge and picking out those tears. And the white in that little gold edge will really pop against the blue. Maybe you can see that. Do you want me to move where the cake is, Simon, or are you okay?
No, it's fine.
And obviously you can lustre this wafer paper before. So if you wanted this to be a bit more sparkly, you could lustre your sheet of wafer paper before you did anything with it. Just dot those on. It's easy to do this before you pop them onto the cake, but you can obviously do any little touch-ups after that once it's on the cake as well. And you can see how this edge here is still the straight edge that the paper came with, and that's fine if you want that kind of look. It just gives you a slightly more angular finish to your sail. I quite like the torn bits added in there as well. And it won't be long before this lustre just starts to really sort of, the rejuvenated spirit will evaporate off in the bowl, and you might need to add a little bit more. Okay. So you can attach the sails to your cake a couple of different ways. So you can use like a little bit of melted white chocolate. I'm not going to do that tonight because it's very warm and I don't think it would set particularly easily. So I think if it wasn't warm, you could quite easily just melt a bit of white chocolate and pop a little bit of white chocolate. Don't do it while the chocolate is still really runny and heating it. Just let it firm up a little bit. But you can also use a little bit of royal icing or piping gel. So either of those three will work really well. I'm just going to make one more.
I was busy reading some comments. So missed a comment from Lynn Steer. What did you paint the Cali with? So
the whatty with?
She calls it a Cali, but I think do you mean the sail? So you painted it with Wonder Dust, haven't you? Yes. Yeah.
So just Wonder Dust and Rejuvenator Spirit, just like when we lustered the cake to begin with, but a little bit thicker.
Wafer paper you can get on our website, but I think the supplier's out of stock because funny enough, I had a look last week and the actual supplier is out of stock.
Oh, really?
I think this is down to the fact that there's no cardboard, no paper, no nothing.
It's all been redirected to make boxes for Amazon. Bloody Amazon.
Yeah, it's very hard getting hold of some things. I'm sure some of you in the craft industry are doing cards and stuff like that are going to be having problems soon. My daughter's in Australia and they can't even get wood over there.
What?
No, she needs wood to build a house and can't get any wood. What do they call it? Timber yards, isn't it? The earliest they think they can get wood is going to be October, November. So she's on the waiting list for wood. They've got a cheap wood that's not very good, and people are so desperate for it they're just buying that as well. But she said there's going to be a massive problem soon. Wow. But there's a worldwide shortage of cardboard. Seriously, I'm not kidding when I say it. And if you look at Amazon now, I know one lady was quite cross the other day. She bought something, and as it happens, it was for her, but Amazon didn't send it out in a brown box. They sent it out in the original packaging with a big Amazon sticker on it. And she said, as it happens, it was for me, but that could have been a gift. It's got a big Amazon sticker on it.
Yeah.
She might have wanted to keep the box as well with a big Amazon sticker with her address on it. Yeah. Delivery charges from us. Okay, so if you spend over £15 on icing sugar, now that's not whipping it up cocoa powder, so basically you need to buy 6 bags of icing sugar, then you get free shipping, and it also means you can add other things to your basket. So if you're buying icing sugar, you can spend £15, which is great if you're buying a big bag. So if you're buying the £20 bag, you've got free shipping, and then if there's something else you want to add to it, you can throw in some other bits to it if you want to, and you're on free shipping. What else? Richard rewarded himself with a post-workout, a G&T, and is now sat down. I'm now an expert in blue sugar paste. There you go, he's learning. After
I
all
know.
these years, you're teaching him.
He says that he's now trained to do these things. When I did some live classes last year from my home, some flower ones, and he was like, "Oh, I know how to make delphiniums now." I was like, "No, you don't. Just because you were in the room when I taught it, you don't."
Mandy Harvey says, could you wonder dust the sails? That's what she's doing. She's painting the edge
Yeah,
with
so I'm
wonder
just
dust.
painting the edges, but like I said
But
before,
you can brush them.
yeah, you could dust the whole sheet in.
Why don't you just show them
I will
quickly?
do, yeah.
May as well.
You can dust the whole sheet with any of the luster dust. There you go.
So the large brushes I do sell. So we sell 2 centimetre, 3 centimetre, 4 and 5 centimetre. They do sell out pretty fast though. I've got another order on the way. So they'll be back in stock very soon if they're out of stock, because I actually ordered them 2 days ago, so they shouldn't take long to get here. What else is there? Yeah, Lorraine Pike said, yep, all the brushes are back in stock. The big luster brushes are back in stock as well. There's lots of things that are back in stock, but I've run out of stock of other things. But the paper, I do know that this paper is out of stock, and I did have a look with the supplier with both companies. So we just have to wait. Put it in your wish list. So, and also go to the product and tick the box to say you'd like an email when it comes back into stock, and then it will notify you when it's back in stock.
But when you do buy your wafer paper, once you've opened the packet, you must make sure, there it goes, all the luster dust everywhere. You must make sure that it's properly wrapped, because your wafer paper will dry out and become brittle, and it becomes
It's
that much.
twinkling
And
here,
now I'm
there,
like,
isn't
is it me? I'm feeling dizzy. It's like seeing stars. There goes that matte blue.
And it's all landing on my phone. Look at that, it's twinkling. Simon's beard's going to have a blue glittery beard
Always,
or a purple one. Mm-hmm.
So you must make sure that you keep it wrapped up and airtight, because it will become brittle, so that it has moisture in it, and that moisture will just kind of evaporate off and your paper will become more and more brittle. So when you come to bend it, it will snap and break, rather than sort of, you'll have to recondition it.
And Sylvia's right, builders are struggling to get cement. Last year they couldn't get plaster.
Yeah, that was us last year,
Yeah,
plaster.
can't get plaster. And they are struggling to get cement. They're struggling to get everything, really. And I will tell you, since we've come out of the EU, they're trying to make it very difficult for us. I think they're just being real spoil sports because we left them. And now it's like, now we can't actually ship into the EU any edibles at all. They're just not taking it. None of the couriers will take it. And this is why we can't ship to Southern Ireland, we can't ship to Spain, Italy, anywhere. They're not taking any edibles at all.
They've really split the dummies.
Pardon?
They've really
They split the dummies out.
And then we had all the vaccines, and they didn't like that either.
And then we had all the vaccines. But you know what? You've got to give Boris a round of applause for that. He has made sure that we are all safe, hasn't he? He's done everything.
Yeah,
and if you want
just
to go
don't like it very
anywhere,
much. He's really like not being good with the wedding industry at the moment, so I'm just,
No,
I
but the
can't even
thing
bring
is-
myself. I
but
can't
the-
even bring myself.
Yeah, but he may well not be good with that. But the fact is, he is making sure that we're all safe.
Apart from all the ones that have died.
Yeah, but we're the only country in the
Did
world.
anything.
We're the
Valid.
Only, no, that's not true.
It's
No,
true.
it is not. Because let me tell you, go and have a look at Germany. What they've done. They've not even vaccinated 10% of their people. Go and have a look at all the other
it's working
countries.
now, but
No,
it's too slow.
No, they were too slow at first, but every country was too slow. You can't just blame Boris for that. Let's not have a row over Boris. I think that man...
Boris is not
that
worth it.
man,
Shouldn't talk about him
No,
at all.
that man should have a ruffled hair. He must be pulling his brains out every day.
Yeah, but he had ruffled hair long before
No,
COVID.
well, I would you like his job?
Never.
No. Well, there you go.
Nobody would
I
like his
think
job.
we all have enough pressure, and I think that man has that much pressure. I think we should just all be very thankful we've got him.
Do you know what? It absolutely astounds me that there are always people that do want that job. I'm like, what?
I'm busy enough with my own job without taking on everybody else's problems worldwide.
It's just like, how are there still people that want it? It's such a no-win situation of a job, isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Like,
Yeah,
who would
exactly.
want that job?
but they do, don't
But
they?
there are always people that want it.
Yeah.
It's just and like willing to like fight over it and everything. It's just baffling to me.
Well, I retired from cake decorating last year. I was going to retire at the end of the year, and then COVID happened,
Yeah.
and I retired then. All my cakes were cancelled, and
Yeah.
I just had to give everybody their money back.
Yeah.
It's not the end you wanted, really, was it?
No.
I wanted to go out
Go out with a bang, yeah.
And it was just a little...
There's now a national shortage of wheelbarrows. Oh, I'm glad I bought one.
Hold
I
the
managed to
phone.
get one a few weeks ago. I feel really chuffed. managed to buy a new wheelbarrow.
Stick it on eBay, probably get loads of money for it.
There's a frigging national shortage of nifty nozzles. My guy in Russia cannot get steel, and he can't get any steel at all. Probably because China's got it all. But anyhow,
that's another topic.
It's just a nightmare. I feel it's like, if someone asks me for any more nozzles, it's not that I don't want to sell them, you ladies. I want to sell you nozzles, but I only want them from a man in China, from my man in Russia. I want them from a man in Russia, not from a man in China.
So yeah, when you dust the wafer paper, it's quite translucent a look. It's not like a solid block of colour like when you paint the sugar paste. It's just a different medium and it doesn't take to the colour as well. So it's a lot more subtle, it's a lot more translucent and ethereal looking. Yeah, it's quite sort of
question, sorry, just started watching, so you may have already said this, but does wafer paper thickness quality vary?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not the quality, it's just there's different, like with any paper, there's different grades of thickness. So anything, most things that you will be able to get that's food grade wafer paper will be absolutely fine for these. I think this one is, let me see if this says on it. Sometimes this is 0.27 mils, and that's like a really nice fine grade.
So I've just got to agree with Angie Bradbury. Boris has dealt with COVID and Brexit, and then has so much other work to do. We should admire him, and I think we should do. It's all very easy for us to sit in our chairs here and slag someone off, isn't it? Well, you go out and do a better job. There you go. Sorry.
I can't believe how political we got this evening. It's not like us at all.
No, it's not. We don't normally get on the political one, do we?
It's a change.
Yeah.
It's different.
I wonder if we'll have people
should have
switching
been in
off
here for last night's conversation.
Wwhy? What was last night?
Well, it was proper gutter trash last night. It got well out of order. I had to stop reading comments.
Was it off the other end of the spectrum?
And I was being all sweet and innocent through it all.
You freaking started it. It had to start it from you. It didn't start from me.
Oh, that's brilliant.
We don't know how it started. We just can't remember.
We just can't possibly remember. So I'm just using a little bit of royal icing. Now I've made this royal icing quite thick because again I don't want it runny, I want it to stick quite quickly. So I've made it quite thick but still spreadable. And you're just looking for like a flattish bit on the back.
They're saying the wafer paper looks stunning, and Boris is getting loads of round of applause.
Oh dear Lord, I can't stomach this.
Simon, I really can't believe. I'm not actually going to speak to you anymore about it, because if you do not admire that man, whether you vote for him or
this
not...
mess we're in now is because of him.
Oh my gosh,
right.
please,
I'm not even talking to you about
this is not a safe subject.
Right, I'm not talking about it. Let's get back to
religion
sales.
and politics.
Shall we go back to sales? Let's go back to sales.
I'm gonna start drinking this.
Let's go back to sales.
Yeah, what questions can we answer?
Yeah.
That's not about Boris, people. In the comments, we're leaving it behind.
Yeah.
It's too emotive, dangerous. I've stepped in, put my foot down.
See, it was you, Kim. They've just started. So Lorraine Pike says it was you with your stretching and pulling. So it was you. You started it all last night. We're going to stretch it, stroke it, and pull it. That's what you did.
But that was innocent.
Yeah.
I mean,
Was it?
And they're even saying, listen to little Miss Innocent Kim. Hey, I knew she started it. They all knew. It wasn't me who started the gutter trash last night.
That was an innocent thing to say.
Look, they're all here. It started with rubbing and stretching their heel.
Dearie me.
Angie's throwing you. Go and shave your beard, Simon.
We're getting quite abusive now. You're getting it, Simon's getting it. I think I need to go before I get it. I don't want to get it.
Anyhow, would you like to tell them about your beautiful glass? Now they can see what a most talented cake artist you are. And all these wonderful things that you've done for free tonight. Why don't you tell them a little bit more about your wonderful classes? Tell them the 2 classes you've done so far, because you can still join them. So come on, ladies, back on track.
People are still signing up to them. So we've got, the first one was the Introduction to Buttercream Wedding Cakes. So this is buttercream cakes that are tiered. So I know a lot of people that are doing the single tier buttercream cakes. Once you come to doweling and stacking and doing them for weddings, it's a different level of pressure, slightly different skill set, and you need to kind of just have that level of confidence. So we did 2 cakes on that class. It was a full day. We did one which was a textured buttercream ridge cake. We did another one which was a semi-naked cake, which was really kind of clean and smooth. And then we stacked them, we decorated them with fresh flowers, all in a food safe way, which we talked about and trained you on as well. We talked about storage and transportation, so transporting things chilled. We doweled 2 different ways on that as well. So we did the normal traditional doweling, and then we did also a centre dowel system. So you get trained on the whole lot on that one. It's a really good entry level for wedding cakes. The second introduction to wedding cakes was all about sugar paste. So that was the most recent class that we did. So on that one, we packed it in. So we did all different techniques of sugar paste. We did round cakes, we did tall cakes using a panel wrap method, we did square cakes, we did hexagonal cakes. There's a super easy method that I had for square and hexagonal cakes that I trained you on, and it's a game changer. So if you're worried about square or hexagons, both of them are really bang on trend at the moment and have been for a little while, and I don't think they're going anywhere. Then it's a really, because I know some people that when they get asked to do square cakes, they kind of panic, or they talk their client out of it and say, oh, it would look better round, but actually they are definitely, I've been on a one-woman mission to bring the square cake back, and they're definitely a trend to watch out for. So my really quick and easy method for doing all those sharp corners, so it's not just the top edge with squares, you've got the 4 corners, and obviously on hexagons you've got even more. So that includes all of that. We also did stacking and doweling of those as well, and marbling and a few other bits, and then on the end of that we did a free live, didn't we, which decorated those 2, which was fun.
I have to say this is stunning. So just interrupting you, the lady said, did the sales set hard?
They are hard now.
Yeah.
So we've literally just added that little bit of moisture in with the steam, so you're not soaking the water, just literally just gliding it over, so it just has that little injection of steam to make it soft so that you can scrunch, and then it's hard again, so that you can then obviously attach and do whatever you want with it.
Yeah. Everybody's saying how stunning your cakes are.
Oh,
right,
you.
So you've just told them which classes are.
So that's the 2 that are already on.
Yeah, so let's talk about the 2 that are coming, ladies.
So
we're going to make you professionals, even if you don't sell professional cakes. I saw a comment here that a lady just said, I actually didn't realise how much cake cost until I actually priced it up. And then when she told her that the family member, they didn't want to pay that, and she hadn't even calculated her time. Yeah. So it's a bit of a shocker. So, come on, ladies, if you want to learn proper skills, investing classes, they're the cheapest you'll get.
Yeah,
if you have
really
to come into a live class demo, you'll be paying hundreds of pounds to do a live class. Lots of you have done that. You've been in the £100 mark. This you can do in your sitting room. And you can stop and rewind and go back. And Kim, you are getting the whole blame for last night. They are reminding me about your stroking. Oh, she's stroking, pulling, smoothing, stretching, and every one of them is everyone is supporting me. It was you.
I'm gonna have to watch it back. Was it a class or was it a live?
No, it was a live last night.
I'm going to go watch that back.
Because I said to John over tea tonight, I was telling John about it tonight, and I said, I don't know how it got there. I said, I don't even know how it got there, John. And Kim sat there while we was having our tea and said, I don't know either. And yet the whole audience has come in, Kim, and told the truth and said, stop sitting there like Miss Pretty wouldn't say now.
Do you feel betrayed now? Betrayed by them all?
Right. So your next class.
What's coming up, 28th of June, is a full day just to master ganache. So we're going to cover milk, white and dark chocolate ganache. We're going to do round cakes. We're going to do square cakes. We're going to do 3 different techniques of ganaching, using ganache to cover your cake. So we're going to do the Pro Froster, ganaching plates and Bridges Cake Room kit, all in one day. We're also going to dowel and stack those cakes, and I'm also going to talk about show you as well how to colour your ganache, and how to do a really super quick and easy ganache on ganache technique, which is basically a top coat of ganache, which is decorative and your final finish. So if you don't want a sugar paste, if you don't want to leave it just as buttercream, you can have that lovely ganache finish, but it's textured and it's really quick and easy. So that's the ganache class on the 28th of June. On the 2nd of August is the Wedding Cake Masterclass, which I'm super excited about because it's been a while since I did a Wedding Cake Masterclass. So that is a brand new design that I'm doing for you guys especially. So at the moment it's kind of half done at home, so I'm going to be finishing that off this week, and it will hopefully be up next week when I get the images over to you guys. So that is going to be assuming that you are competent and happy with the sugar paste, getting to the sugar paste stage of things, and we're going to be piling a load of decorative techniques. So these are decorative techniques that I use a lot for wedding cakes, that are really popular, that I've used time and time again. So we're going to be doing some moulding, we're going to be doing some hand-painted calligraphy, we're going to be doing
that idea, hand-painted
the calligraphy is lovely because it's like a really elegant personalisation of the cake. We're going to be doing some colour washing, we're going to be doing some a little bit of sugar floral work. There'll be one sugar flower on there, but we'll make many of them. What else is going on there? Edible sequins, which not the ones you just buy, so we're going to be doing some lustering. There's a whole host of things on there which I will be advertised hopefully next week. But it's a brand new design, and it's already looking really nice. So and there's another a textural technique on there which I completely forgot about because I'm doing it tomorrow. It's not done yet.
So do support your tutors. If you want to learn, rather than ask or send a text message, you know what, go and join a class and learn, and keep that information to yourself as well. If you've invested in a class, you don't need to share that with anybody else. That's your class, you've invested in it, you keep those secrets to yourself, okay? And we have to thank all the tutors for coming in the kitchen and sharing so much, because they don't just come along and do a tiny little live and go, right, I'll tell you about my class. Look at this. You've had a wedding cake out of this demo tonight. Where would you get that as a free tutorial? And you've had that tonight. And that's what each and every tutor does. You know, they come in and show you their skills. And then what they want you to do when you come and join a class, you learn so much more. So do support your tutors. Come and join them. Even if you don't get a chance to do it then, you know, keep a stash of them so you've got them for when you do want to have them. Yeah.
And that's the thing with the people that have done the classes so far. A lot of the time they're like, obviously we've been doing the introduction twos because we know a lot of people are sort of starting out or just making that move from like doing things for fun to perhaps starting to get some orders, and it's part of the like taking the anxiety of taking those steps is having that time to practice. So a lot of the people have done the classes and then they like practicing over the months ahead of the actual time when they need to do the order, so it gives you that time to kind of revisit the class and go to specific sort of chapters of things that we've covered and just go over bits that you perhaps are not that confident on, so you can just keep revisiting it and practicing, which takes all the stress out of it when you actually have to come and do it, because it can be stressful, definitely.
Fantastic.
But
pretty good. Well done to Rachel. So thank you very much, Rachel. We'll see you in your class in a few weeks' time. I hope all these lovely ladies are going to sign up.
Me too. It'll be lovely to see them.
Yeah, absolutely. So tomorrow, you've got a peaceful day tomorrow. Tracy Mann is not in tomorrow morning, but I'm on the live tomorrow night, and I am going to use Bridget's cake room for a buttercream cake. So I'm going to do that, have it in the freezer ready, so that we can unveil it when I do the live tomorrow. And I'm going to use the Hobbycore manual airbrush with the Wonder Dust to show you how to make buttercream all lovely and gold and really, really glittery. So that if you think this kitchen is blinging tonight, wait till tomorrow. And then I'm also going to make some whipping it up and show you how to decorate whipping it up, with how to make the Russian flower tips with whipping it up, and how lovely, shiny and smooth they are.
Amazing.
Won't look as good as your cake, but it will be nice. I haven't made it yet, so who knows?
You never know.
You never know, do you? Yeah, fantastic. So thank you everyone for joining us.
Thank you for coming.
And we will keep you updated about the demonstration days. As I say, I can't tell you anything yet. We have to wait for the good man Boris to let us know what's happening. He's keeping us all safe. We need to remember that, okay? All right then. Right, thanks you everybody.
Joining. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Simon, with your purple beard. Thank you, Kim.
Thanks, Simon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thanks, Carol.
Bye.
Bye.